Hey, what's up you guys? You're watching Team APS. In today's video, I'm going to share 5 cards that kind of just got crept out or forgotten about or just something. And these aren't like, super old cards like that one video I did a few months back. These are cards that were like meta relevant in just the last couple of years, and they've just kind of been, for some reason or other, phased out, become obsolete. And I only have 5, but this list could like go on and on and on and on. Like there's so many cards. So at the end of the video, be sure to leave your own comments for cards that you think have just mysteriously disappeared. So first, tour guide. So tour guide. I don't think I think everybody knows how good this card was once upon a time, right? It used to be like the rank 3 maker. Early on it was just getting Sangin, then like Night Assailant, and of course, later Burning Abyss. And you can even get stuff like, Dark Worlds could use it. You can even get Archfiend Eccentric. And the thing about Tour Guide was, it was a really powerful turn 1 play. You just normal summoned it, and that was a rank 3 for free. And it was kind of a better way to do it than any other deck could do. What's interesting about this card too is that, it's limited to 1 right now. And if we're being honest, if it wasn't for Burning Abyss's existence, this card almost certainly wouldn't have to be at 1. I think it could be at 2, I think it could be at 3, because the card that, crept it out, Speed Void Terratop, is at 3. And Speed Void Terratop's legitimately just kind of better tour guide in every way. It doesn't take up your normal summon. It can make those wind-only things like Totem Bird. It searches the card to your hand, which is actually kind of interesting because if it gets Veilered, but you happen to maybe have like a Takatombor already in your hand, you could still special summon it and your opponent still lost like a Veiler, and it's kind of like different that kind of way. But yeah, this thing really, honestly and truly, like, it's a shame that Tour Guide doesn't see a bit more play. It's just a worse Speed Void Terratop, and I think that blatant power creep is a little bit annoying, but it's what it is. The next card is Cyber Dragon Infinity. So, this is a cool one. I remember when people were, like really up in arms about this card. Just like, oh, this thing it's overpowered, it's too strong, too good of a boss monster. The thing is, though, now that Tellarknight Ptolemaeus is banned, it's hard for your average deck to just drop a Cyber Dragon Infinity. And it's really largely, I'd say, been crept out by the whole Bahamut Shark into Totally Awesome thing, where, people just do that instead. Cyber Dragon Infinity is still a really powerful boss monster. You can take like monsters from your opponent each turn, he powers it up, and then he's able to negate stuff, during either player's turn. Now, Totally Awesome, I guess, has the benefit of being a little bit easier to summon, but it is weaker. Its effect is a little bit better because it steals the card, and whenever you take something like a Terraforming and all like those kinds of cards these days, and Twin Twisters maybe, that's really, really potent. But I don't think this card is bad. I think that people have probably found other better things. I know like Invoked Mechaba is another one that it's kind of competing with. But I don't think that like Cyber Dragon Infinity is like a worse card. It's just weird to see that it's gone like this. Next is Traptrix Rafflesia. So this card also was really popular during like the Pepe format, where people would just like make this with their ending fields, and you can trap hole your opponent straight from the deck. You sit her down there with 2500 defense, and she's unaffected by traps, and like you can just bottomless or Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare or whatever your opponent from the deck. I think that the reason why she became crept out in a sense is because people now just don't have the space to dedicate like to trap cards in their main deck. So it's just sort of like, why run all these traps when I can just run like Solemn Strike and like, Dimensional Barrier? But still, she's like a staple part of the rank 4 toolbox. It kind of sucks that, she really only works well if you have like a board around her, right? Like, I think of the Dark Law decks where it'd be like her plus Dark Law plus something else. But as it is now, yeah, I see the problems. Still a cool card though. Next is Lose a Turn. Now, I will, say that Lose a Turn has gotten a hair more play recently in like True Dracos, but for a long time this card kind of got forgotten. I remember when people were complaining, saying this thing needed to go to 1, it's just overpowered. People were using it in like Yosenju, Cleaforts, those sorts of decks, and like it's a really good stun card. Like you have to only run it in decks that like kind of normal and tribute summon and stuff, but when you have it out in the field, it really slows your opponent down, puts their monsters in defense, negates their effects, and that's basically making them lose 1 turn. And we all know in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the pace of things, losing a turn is detrimental. So I don't see why this trap doesn't see more play. Now, yes, you can make the argument, oh, well, Twin Twisters exists. But that can be set up like any spell or trap. It just sucks to see that this hasn't really seen a lot of play. I think that it could be super underrated if people maybe gave it more attention. And the last card is Mistake, which I especially think deserves more attention than it gets. Because there was a time when, okay, A, this card was a secret rare and not a lot of people had it. It was like 40, 50 bucks. But also, you know, this thing, you can chain it to anything that's searching and just your opponent just kind of hates you after that. You activate Tinky, chain mistake. I activate Rhoda, chain mistake. And mistake stays in the field. It's not quite like, you know, like your Ash Blossom Joyous Spring type of card where it negates it once. Once you've used mistake, like it just sits there on the board until your opponent can get rid of it. So I really think that, you know, considering how much true Dracos are searching now and, you know, all these things like Zodiacs, I think there's like potential in this card. I really would like to see people use it more. But anyway, that concludes my list of 5 cards that just kind of went off the map. I think that they could, should, maybe would come back if things are a little bit different. So let me know what you guys think though. What cards have you noticed just sort of disappeared and that you think maybe could come back? Leave them in the comments. And also remember to subscribe if you liked the video, give a thumbs up. Enter that giveaway for a Maximum Crisis box if you haven't already. It's in the description. Without further ado, I will catch you guys in the next one.